It's one thing to have a great picture.
But if it's not framed well, it's not going to look great on your wall.
No, it's not. So here are the tips is TANI DUGGAR. She's the owner of Insight Photography, and she's going to give you some great insight. Right?
Yes, exactly.
So we're talking about finding the right frame for your photograph or artwork, whatever it may be. Now, we all have those photos that we look at and we say, I have to put this in a frame.
Yes.
Then you finally put it in a frame and you say, ugh, it just doesn't look right. So I think that the first thing you need to do is make sure that, first of all, it looks great in the frame, but that it matches the room it's going in.
Yes. If you have a very contemporary, modern type room, it wouldn't make sense to use a distressed frame in your room. It doesn't
keep with the style.
Right.
And similarly, the frame itself needs to complement the photograph. What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, this fabulous photo here is great, but the frame, awesome, they don't quite work together. This one over here is the distressed frame, and the baby's in a wicker basket. It all kind of works together. It complements each other.
You're right. Yeah, this one makes more sense.
It does. It's, you know, you have a great photo and you have a great frame individually.
Yes.
When you put them together, you have to make sure they're a good match.
Yes.
Like this photo of this baby, what kind of frame would you put that
Well, it's a
picture
nice,
in?
bright, fun picture, so I would find a nice, happy, fun frame.
And so this frame is more like maybe for like a wedding photo.
That's exactly what I would put in that frame.
Right.
Yes. Right.
So you got to make sure it matches well, and that's what's going to really make your whole home kind of have that tied together look.
Exactly.
Now, Tani, take me through the mat, how that works. I'm a guy, I don't like using mat. That's because I'm simple and cheap. The importance of a mat and how you match it to your photograph in the frame in the room.
Okay.
Tie it all together.
All right, so the mat should complement the photograph. For example, this photo here, we have very cream natural colors. The frame is darker, and the mat is cream color, kind of emphasizes the darker tones in the photograph.
Yes.
Whereas this one over here has, it's very black and white, and it's a silver frame. It's kind of a silvery type matte, so they kind of adds and pulls certain colors from the imagery.
Now, Tani, I also note on a lot of these, it's almost like there's two levels of matte. There's matte on matte.
Because one mat's great, more mats are better.
Okay.
No.
Extra matte.
Over time, the glass can tend to bow, so you want to make sure you have multiple mats in there to help support the glass so it doesn't actually end up touching the photograph.
And they don't always have to be the same color. I see on some of these, it's a lighter and a dark on top, something like
you can add
that.
some more pop and color.
Huh.
The glass should never touch the photo itself, because what can happen is the image can actually adhere to the glass, and then the glass is like stuck to that picture, and then you just ruin the photo. So that's the importance of having a mat.
Yeah, see, I was talking to you earlier, Tani, and whenever I buy a frame, I never think of a mat. I buy a frame and I have a picture, I put it in and I say, gosh, the frame is like, isn't big enough for the I'm just terrible at it. But it makes sense that having that mat makes it look like a professionally framed
And if you're gonna have
picture.
wonderful professional portraits taken, go to a professional framer. They're going to help you make all those decisions and see what match is going to work, and they have the samples so you can take the photo and say, oh, this is going to work great with this, and give you a really better idea.
Now, another reason you need to go to the pros, because this blew me away, glass isn't created equal. There's different kinds of glass.
Yes.
What do you need to think about when you're picking glass?
Well, when you're thinking about glass, you want to think about where it's going to be hanging. Where is the frame going to be? If it's going to be in a sunroom, you might want to think about getting a UV protectant glass to help protect and keep the image from fading. Or if it's going to be opposite of a bright light, you want to cut down on the glare, so you might get a glare reduction glass.
Oh, wow.
See, I just
so many
thought
things I don't think about. And then, you know, it really is so much of your decor.
Yes.
And it is what you look at every single day. So you do want to make sure that you're investing in not just getting something really inexpensive that is going to bow or not to be displayed right. Also, you mentioned that when you get those family photos taken, before you even do it, what you should do.
You should, before you have a photo session, you want to take your clothing out and lay it in the room where it's going to be displayed. So make sure the clothing is going to match the room decor. So like you said, you don't want something lime green if all your tones in your room are all of natural.
Right, it's not going to go. And
point.
same with the frame too. Make sure that it all ties together to continue that whole theme that you have in your home.
a whole lot to think about.
To think about.
Right? I know. Your pictures just got both classier and a little bit more
And these
difficult.
pictures are beautiful, by the way. Oh, precious.
Thanks for
these
stopping
babies.
by today. And coming up,